This is Mayor Ron Anders with the Auburn Mayor's Minutes from our February the 4th, 2020 Auburn City Council meeting. We began during the Committee of the Whole last night by appointing Wes Williams to the Auburn Cemeteries Advisory Board. And thank you, Wes, for being willing to serve. And thank you, Randy Byers, for serving so faithfully for many, many years, over 2 terms. And we look forward to Wes's good work on there. Councilman Tommy Dawson brought the subject up of evaluating the mayor's salary last night, and there was a rich discussion amongst the council members. The mayor's salary has not been raised since 1990, and it currently sits at $16,000 a year. There was a lot of discussion about what it should be. There's some data that supports or that displays what other mayors are paid throughout our region, in our forms of government and other college towns. I would say to you, as our members of our community, that this is a decision that you need to weigh in on, and we encourage you to please contact your city council representative and let them know how you feel about this. We have delayed the evaluation and the voting of this ordinance until the March 3rd meeting, so it'll be practically 1 month. We won't do it at the next meeting. And in that time, please consider what the council will be considering and let us know how you feel. The ordinance will reflect a raising of the mayor's salary from $16,000 to $45,000. It'll also reflect the raising of the city council's salary from $600 or $7,200 a year to $14,400 a year. The city council salary has not been raised since 2006. From where I sit, this is my only interest, is that we do the right thing for Auburn. None of these salary increases can be realized by the current people that are holding these seats in the city council. They would not go into play until after the next city council and mayor have been sworn in the year of 2022. So all of us, to realize these salary compensation increases, would have to run for re-election and be successful in 2.5 years. I feel like this is in Auburn's best interest to consider what the mayor's compensation is because of the responsibilities, the duties, the time commitment of a mayor. I knew exactly what the mayor's compensation was when I sought this office a 1.5 years ago. And I do plan to run for re-election in 2022. And if the city council ultimately decides not to raise the mayor's salary, then I still plan to run for re-election in 2022. But as we move into the future of Auburn, the opportunity to be the mayor or serve on the city council should be open to as many people as possible. And sometimes when you take time away from your job, it is an inhibitor towards your public service. And so we're just trying to mitigate that. Certainly what we have tried to create is a culture in our city council and our mayor where we're certainly available to our community as often and as needed as possible. And that just simply takes time, and many times that takes time away from our jobs. So this is a consideration for not only the city council, but primarily for you, the community, to determine whether you feel like this is in order for us to receive and for your elected officials to receive in the future. And remember, this would not go into effect until the next group of people are elected in 2022 and are sworn into office in November of 2022. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact myself or contact any members of the city council. There will be a public hearing the night we do decide upon this that you'll have a chance to speak at as well. During the regular agenda last night, we were pleased to recognize Miss Sarah Hill as our Employee of the Month. Sarah is employed as the Tennis Center Operations Supervisor for the Parks and Rec Department. And in a memo that was authored by Becky Richardson, our Parks and Rec Director, Becky says some of the following things about Sarah. She is responsible for the operation of the front desk, including reservations, registration for programs, reconciling and depositing payments. She has proven to be a great asset in the Parks and Rec Department. She has worked with a PR specialist to streamline the registration information for clinics and lessons to make it easier to understand the options, and has implemented online registration. Sarah is well respected by staff, and Becky was very pleased to nominate her as the Employee of the Month. So congratulations, Sarah Hill, from Auburn's Parks and Rec staff, and thank you for all the good work that you have done and will continue to do for all of the citizens and all of our guests and visitors that come to the Tennis Center during the year. We recognize Scott Key from Water Resource Management for working for the city for 5 years. Auburn City Planner Forrest Cotton has been with the city for 15 years, and Ms. Deborah Hoyette from Public Safety Police have been with the city for 25 years, and we were proud to recognize them with service awards last night as well. As we get in the consent agenda, we had a couple of alcohol beverage licenses we approved. One is from Wooey USA, which is located at 1655 South College Street, and the other one was for S&L Vapes, located at 1409 South College Street. These were retail beer and wine licenses. Taxpayer penalty waiver request, we approved 2 of those last night. The city's policy is if the business has a great track record with the city, that this is their first time offender, that we try to extend some grace and give them a waiver this first time around. And so we were happy to do that last night for a couple of businesses because they've done a good job to this point, and we look forward to them being successful here in the future. Very excited to announce a tax abatement approval last night with ATS Alabama, 933 Shugjerd Parkway. ATS will be reinvested $1.2 million into their plant and hiring 10 new employees. And so again, as I say a lot of times in the mayor's minutes, this is a current facility, a current company that is located in our community, and they are choosing to expand in our community. And I believe that signals good signs and a good economy in our city for their expansion. So thank you, ATS Alabama, for expanding in Auburn. City Council restructured 2 different mortgages through our CDBG program in Northwest Auburn. If you'd like any more information, contact Al Davis in our Community Services Department. Under contracts and agreements, we approved 2 expansion licenses for our IT department with Dell EMC Corporation. These are for cybersecurity and to protect all of our information. We had a number of purchases of vehicles for our police department. We had 2 unmarked cars that were purchased for $48,000. We had a pickup truck that was purchased for $22,000. And we had 10 marked and 2 unmarked cars for our police division, and that was $377,000. All of these are budgeted. Many of these are replacing older vehicles that we have spent quite a bit of money in the last few years trying to keep them on the streets. This is something that has been planned for by the city's budget, by the City Council, by the Public Safety Department. Obviously, we want our officers to be in the best vehicles possible. We need them to be on the streets when their shift comes up. And so from time to time, we do have to purchase cars to replace older models. I remind you also that we're hiring 12 new policemen this year, and so we'll be looking at purchasing some more vehicles to put those 12 new policemen in as well. But we're always proud and thankful that we can support our public safety men and women to the best of our abilities. And we look forward to purchasing these vehicles, and they're being used to protect all of us here in Auburn. We purchased 2 pickup trucks for our Parks and Rec department for $52,000, and these were also replacing older models as well. We approved a contract for the Magnolia Avenue lighting project. This was $138,000. This has been contemplated for a while now, but Magnolia Avenue, particularly the west side or the north side of Magnolia Avenue, needs some extra lighting. There are more people living in that area than ever before. They are crossing Magnolia Avenue to go to Auburn University to class. And so it's been important for the city and for our public safety, for our public works department, for us to get better lighting on the sidewalk area as you approach the streets from a pedestrian standpoint, and certainly for vehicles to be able to see the pedestrians that are on the sidewalk or near the streets. And so we look forward. This is 17 lights that we'll purchase and install there on Magnolia Avenue, and hopefully, and we plan for Magnolia Avenue to be a safer location for everybody to be out and about on. We also approved a contract with Enberg Anderson Architects for Auburn Public Library Space Study. As libraries continue to evolve, as the library went through a strategic planning process recently, this is a study to tell us whether we're using the space within the library to the best of the abilities and what the constituents of Auburn need as we move into the future. Libraries serve different purposes than they served many years ago, and we want to be on top of what's in the best interest of our community and what are the needs are of our citizens. And so we'll take some time, and we're going to spend some money here to study that space and eventually evaluate what our options are moving forward into the future. Under ordinances last night, we approved 3 different stop signs for the Northwoods Weber Farms neighborhood. In resolutions last night, we re-looked at a conditional use. 2 weeks ago, the City Council considered a Telecommunications tower at 3964 Wimberley Road. It failed to receive a motion that night. We left the meeting believing that had failed and that there would be no action taken. What we have learned is that the ordinance of the city and the rules of the city supersede Robert's rules at times, and when you have to approve or not approve conditional uses, that is one of those occasions that the city council and the mayor have to take action on. So because we didn't take action on this 2 weeks ago, it came back on our agenda last night, and so we took action. So the first thing we did is we moved the item from the table, and that is a Robert's Rules term. And then that allowed us to vote on this. There was a request from the applicant for us to delay the vote on this for another month to allow them to do some more due diligence and some study of potential new areas. Eventually, the council decided not to do that. We're not in favor of that. There was a motion made and seconded, and then this conditional use failed. So the city council did not approve the conditional use for a telecommunications tower at 3964 Wimberley Road. In the final action last night in the city council, we did postpone the vote on a conditional use for Grid Enterprises at 122 West Magnolia. This is the Skybar. This is something that we did not vote on 2 weeks ago because the city council felt like we did not have enough information to consider this request. We have still not received that information, so we postponed this for another 2 weeks, hoping that the owner's representatives will be able to deliver us some information that we can consider before our next meeting on February the 18th. That was all for our city council meeting last night. This is Ron Anders with the Mayor's Minutes from our February 4th, 2020 City Council meeting. Have a great week.